It's lovely to be with you. I'm Mel Perry, and this evening I'm introducing you to a group of women that I've been working with over the last 15 months. We've been together since January 2020, and then in March 2020 we went completely online. And this is a group of women from Llansteffan, or with kind of close associations with Llansteffan in Carmarthenshire in West Wales. And the women in the group are Wendy Evans, Celia Strange, Alison Terry and Lottie Williams. And they're all going to be reading some of the work that we've done together for you this evening. Over the last few months, we've explored a range of themes: memoir, family history, seasonal themes and traditions, dreams, sleep, and a wide range of metaphors. We've also tried out different poetic forms and short story and flash fiction. So it's been an incredibly rich experience from a literary point of view. So we've got a number of readings for you this evening, and the first set of readings, they're all going to read their pieces that were exploring themes around Christmas, inspired by reading Dylan Thomas's Child's Christmas in Wales, and they could either write in a kind of Dylan-esque fashion or write from their own experiences. So first up, I'd like to introduce Wendy Evans.
Christmas Eve when you're little. It's here at last, Christmas Eve. It's really Christmas Eve. Yahoo! I've been trying so hard to be good. I don't think I managed it all the time, but crossing my fingers that I have been good enough. Not long now. I managed to amuse myself during the day, but can't seem to get my mind off the subject of Santa's visit. I have been trying to plan a way in which I can catch him delivering my presents. Hopefully I'll get some. Not sure I get loads, but it's too late to write that wrong. Anyway, it's not been all my fault. Maybe if I write a sorry letter, he might take pity on me and think, what a nice girl. Nah, he's not that stupid. And if I lie, I'm sure he'll know. Can't last any longer. I ask Mum if I can go to bed. My mother looks at me as if I have two heads. Why is she looking at me like that? My mother wants to know if I'm feeling okay, as I never ask to go to bed, but I'm sure I do, on the odd occasion. I go to the bathroom and have my nightly rinse. My mother thinks I wash. Brush my teeth. I do that well, as I don't want to have to lose my teeth like Grandma. Boy, can she talk and dribble at the same time? I snuggle down in my bed with a torch, because this year I'm going to catch him. He will have to be quick if he's going to visit me without being seen. I hear a noise. Woohoo, is that time? No, it's my mum. Come in to tuck me in. Right, let's go for this. That's the fastest good night I have ever done, and my mother's left the room with a smile on her face. Why was she smiling? It's all quiet and I am hiding underneath the duvet with my torch at the ready. Shh, there's a noise. Is it time? I'm too scared to peek because they say if he sees you, it's game over. So I have to be really quiet and sneaky peek. Slowly, I pull the duvet down and a little, and there are two eyes looking back at me. I jump and let a little screech. It's the damn cat, stupid furball, nearly made me poo my pants. I snuggle down and I hear the cat purring. Why I didn't think of that before. A cat, of course. When Santa comes, the cat will wake up and let me know someone is there. Yes, it's a great plan and so easy. I'm struggling to keep my eyes awake and the stupid cat keeps purring, but I can't stop him now, as he is part of my plan. I feel as if I've been waiting ages. Then the cat moves. Yes, I got him. Santa, I mean. I gently and slowly pull back my head out from the covers and open my eyes slowly as half of me is scared. Wow, it's morning. Where did the night go? And I stayed awake. Well, I thought I did. Then I looked under the tree and there were lots of goodies and prezzies. I reckon the cat is in with Santa. The war is on, Santa. I'll catch you next year as I'll buy some matchsticks to keep my eyes open. And as far on Furball, he is fired as of now. Thank you.
We gathered around, a little group of men, women and older children, ready to walk the streets of Palmer's Green in North London. At last, I was old enough to go out after dark on carol singing evenings with my father, older brother, and various members of the choir and congregation. We would start out from our base, the then solid and classical Presbyterian church, of which my father was organist and choirmaster. A very particular man, my father always worked to the highest musical standards, and the group of carol singers was expected to produce fine harmonies and crisp, clear diction. We carried with us the sheet music for a variety of carols, and I would sing either soprano or contralto, my brother singing either bass or tenor. We moved from gathering beneath one street lamp to the next, the better to read the verses we sang. The collectors crisscrossed the road, knocking doors, hoping to fill their charity tins. How lucky those residents to be treated to such a performance. Once upon a midnight clear, Good King Wenceslas, Silent Night, O come all ye faithful were only some of our repertoire. An abiding memory is of my father walking backwards, leading the group, conducting all the while, and making sure we gave of our best. He would find the right key by using his ever-ready tuning fork and then singing out the first note for us to begin each carol. And he always ensured that we steered well clear of the only public house remotely on our route. The evening would end with the merry band thankfully warming themselves in someone's welcoming front room, filling hungry mouths with warm mince pies and sandwiches and drinking cups of tea. My father would be so pleased if he knew how proud I am now of this experience of being one of his carol singers. A chilly evening in Christmas week would be the time when, unsurpassed, that little band of carol singers would gather to inspire with holy music. The streets near our church would be filled with sweet harmonies as we moved from lamp to lamp, singing in the darkness. My father handed out sheets of words and music, urging us along the road, finding first the right note, and then walking backwards before us, tuning fork returned to pocket, arms keeping rhythm and discipline. The sweet, sustaining sounds filled the air, donations filled the charity tins. We would be grateful for mince pies and tea later, although we needed no other reward than the sounds we created that night.
And my piece is called A Child's First Christmas Abroad. Around 1967, I am in Switzerland. On December the 6th, it is the feast of Saint Nicholas. I am excited, but wary. I am told he is like Father Christmas, only he speaks German. A knock at the door. There is deep snow outside. A figure comes into the candlelit room and stamps the snow off his boots, leaving small puddles on the floor. He is wearing a dark brown coat. He has a white beard and is carrying a large Hessian sack. He sits down at the far end of the room near the Christmas tree, a real Christmas tree with real candles. The smell of pine needles, spluttering candles. I think he's friendly, but I feel a bit scared too. We children gather round and he calls out our names one by one in German. Is there a girl called Alison here? Have I been a good girl? I am given a small Hessian bag, my initials sewn on it in yellow felt letters. contains a tangerine, some whole nuts, and a few chocolate coins. On Christmas Day, I wake up very early. I remember lying there for what seemed like an age, excited and desperate to know if he had been the real Father Christmas in red. Trying not to wake anyone, feeling around at the foot of my bed in the dark for a bulky shape. I can still remember the thrill of discovering the sack, its rough texture against my exploring toes, the unmistakable smell of hessian, a gentle shake and the rustle of contents, trying to guess what the sack contained. Daylight eventually comes. The others are awake, and there it is, the same sack that St. Nicholas had brought with the yellow felt letters A.B. I think I like this place. 2 Father Christmases and more snow than I will ever need to make the biggest snowman and maybe an igloo.
On the first Saturday night of the month of December, or it could have been a Friday or even a Sunday, with a chilling fizz in the air biting on the rosy red skin of the young boy's cheeks, with frozen fingers inside woolen mittens and booted feet stamping on the icy ground, the town mayor calls forthwith the local folk of Ramsey to the town clock shrouded in darkness. Grandad's Bob's whiskey notes cloud the air in front of his bulbous nose and hang like an alcoholic mist to illuminate the black night. Mrs. Fazakerly clutches the railings and hand of her young daughter and sighs at the electric youths who cluster the waltzers and candy floss hordes. But it's the lights that they have come to see. Oh, what of the lights? The countdown from 10 to 0 that excites, entices, and engulfs the street with a sudden flashing array of colour, from United News to Summerfield to Wade's Electronics and Breen's shoes. Red, blue, green, white. The young boys cheer, Mrs. Fazakerly sighs, and the teenagers kiss behind the beatbox pulsing, music blaring bus stop. And Grandad Bob? I remember. Rotund belly, black belted, cotton wool lined red coat. He sits on his stool, elbow on knee, and whiskey glint in his gaze. The children adore him, or are scared of him, or eye him dubiously, and the parents and aunts and uncles and grandmamas long for a whiskey glug too, or cast aspersions on his suitability. But is there magic in his utterance, the enchantment of his stance? Oh no, not if you were expecting his ho, 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 and a ho, 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 and a ho, ho, ho. But this black-gloved, pipe-wielding, reindeer-loving, sack-holsting enjoys the Yorkshireman's hello, 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 and the hello, hello, hello. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lottie, for finishing up with the sounds of Christmas in Ramsey. And that concludes our Christmas presentation. And okay, well, welcome back. We're now going to do another couple of rounds of people reading other pieces that they've written, and this is their chance to choose from their the great canon of work that they've developed over the last year. And first up is Lottie.
Hello. So Mel gave us a range of butterfly prompts, short stem sentences that we were to continue writing for a very short piece of time, about 2 minutes for each. There are about 8 or 9 of those stem sentences in total, and then we continued to write on from there over the next 2 weeks and come back in the next session with a more complete piece. The butterfly prompt that I used was there was a blurry moon, and I developed from that the hollow darkness. The scarred lino felt cold against her leg as she shifted position, though only slightly so not to wake him. A dark blonde mop of hair had fallen across his eyes, and his chest continued to rise and fall against her. rhythmic and bony like a skeletal xylophone. Her feet had long gone numb, and her torso ached with tension and fatigue. As long as he was okay, she thought, for he was only 5 and she was 8. A blurry moon muffled against the sill and floor, distorted by 4 years of grime that cradled the panes. Cold crept in through single glaze and crawled through paper-thin skin, chilling her to the core. She gently pulled the blanket further up his back and shoulders and, in doing so, uncovered her own feet. As long as he was okay, she thought, for he was only 5 and she was 8. As darkness ticked by and sleep evaded, she thought about forgetting her 6 times table during maths that day. The numbers refused to formulate a coherent pattern. She thought about how some girls in the year above had laughed at her in the playground. They pointed cruelly at her shoes, and even though they turned away, their glances continued with uncomfortable regularity. She thought about how sweet and fatty the break time milk had tasted, and how she had rolled the cream around her mouth so that it bathed her tongue and her teeth and her gums and her cheeks, and how it felt as she swallowed and it glided down her throat, and how she didn't want it to end. She thought about how safe she had kept the sausage roll and butterfly cake, wrapped so very carefully with a paper napkin, in her pocket all afternoon, and how he had hungrily devoured them that evening in the safety of their bedroom. She did not think of the void that strangled her throat and clanged in her stomach, for now at night the constant ache was so dull that she barely noticed. The blurry moon abandoned its midnight shine and resigned itself to the unforgiving clouds that shrouded its light. A hollow darkness hung heavily, and the sky, malnourished from lack of stars, accepted its fate. As long as he was okay, she thought, for he was only 5 and she was 8. Thank you.
Was on the far side of the river. In the mist of the early morning, I could see what a doe and her fawn were staring back at me from the misty riverbank. Their eyes were glowing in the breaking of the dawn. I do so love these early mornings, walks, time to think, and the quiet rustling of the trees in the breeze. The reflection of the mother and young one glistening in the calm river. The stillness of the morning and the calming effect that this woodland creature had in my mind. No hustle and bustle of the city life, no noises of clanging machinery, people rushing about in their daily life, some off to work and others school, and busy mums doing the daily shopping. My mind was in a dream, and I felt I was in a bubble of tranquility. I wondered what the doe was thinking of me. What a weird creature I must look. Bald skin, no whiskers, not looking at all what they were used to. She keeps looking at her fawn, who is taking the moment to look at me from her beautiful tiny face, learning and checking me out. The doe takes a drink and her fawn follows. This makes me feel wonderful, as they don't see me as a threat, and they feel it's safe to carry on with their drink. The doe checks her fawn, and they both walk off into the fresh-smelling wooded land. What a wonderful, calming time I have witnessed. A fawn and the mum walk to the stream. The stillness of life, not a sound it make. The smell of the morn and dampness of dew make the moment special. The look in her eyes is, who was I, a creature not seen by fawn or doe? A magical moment for my senses, smells, sights, sounds, my mind at peace, blank with the tranquility of woodland life. Thank you.
Stark and proud, it stands surveying the valley below. No welcome here, no tourist trap this, but a slap in the local face. The ignorant withheld their votes, and so this folly tower arose, useless unless as a statement. His fancy was for the London life of a respected representative, his minions rewarded, crossing a bridge gratefully. but it was not to be. We did not place our cross. And on another occasion, another short one I've written was to do with nursery rhymes. And this is a skipping rhyme, and it reflects the experience of young children during the pandemic when they were housebound and couldn't go out to play. And it's called Staying Inside. School is closed. I'm at home. I'm not glad to be alone. Hot outside. I'm at home. I'm not glad to be alone. Playground's shut. I'm at home. I'm not glad to be alone. Can't go out. I'm at home. I'm not glad to be alone. Rescue me. I'm at home. I'm not glad to be alone.
So this piece is in response to a well-known poem called Mindful by Mary Oliver. And I've chosen the words when I notice and what gives me delight. So for me, it's about being mindful and the need for self-care. When I notice. When I notice I am tired, I need space and solitude. After work, my body is tense, my mind full of stuff and voices. So weary, unable to think, I am drawn to the outside, a quiet place in nature. I notice I have been busy, as my neighbour says, always running around. My hours away from home are filled with excess and pressure. I am so lucky, but the need to be there for others, to concentrate, to listen, to think ahead, to be good at it, to be punctual, to be organised, to fit in time, to eat and drink. Once home, I struggled to adjust. Now I have some time, but not sure how to use it. Where do I start? With me. Practice what I preach. What do I need now? Tea and a catch-up, a mutual offload and get up to speed. Yesterday, I needed to be alone and it was raining, a noisy, crashing downpour, mercilessly soaking everything in its path. Drain pipes gurgling, big puddles, wet. On with the waterproofs and into the garden. Ridiculous but necessary. Welcome the clean, pure air. Feel the cool air, breathe in the freshness. I start to snip and rake, gathering the weeds and unwanted leaves. Simple and uncomplicated. The soil is wet and cloggy and sticks to the tools. I notice all around me. Snails sheltering under the canopy of leaves. A silent army of slugs on the warpath, munching the world away. Branches above me with an ever-changing costume of new shade of green, not yellow or brown. I noticed a gradual sense of peace adorning inside my body, a childish happiness. The garden makes no demands, I can just be. If I notice anything, it leads me to notice more and more. Filling a bag with cuttings and twigs, I kneel on the sodden grass, scrambling around on all fours, collecting the windfalls. I feel the wetness soak through to my knees, rain trickling down my neck. I don't care. The world's concerns disappear into the wind, caution thrown on into the compost. What do I notice? A beetle, a rotting apple, a worm. Filling a bucket with abandoned fruit, I notice the plonk and rattle. I also notice the brief pang of should guilt. Once again, nature's bounty, free and there for taking, but mostly forgotten by me and wasted. I can't save the world, but I could save a few apples. A few bags collected for the neighbours. Who has time and inclination to fill jars and freezers? Out there, not a care what I look like or how long I take. I am wearing one blue glove and one pink glove, and a hat that makes me look like a dotty old lady like my mother. The sound of the heavy rain on the ground, the wind tossing and shaking all around me, the smell of the earth. I feel strangely soothed and whole again. No clamouring. My husband in the kitchen doing what he loves best, chopping and slicing, messing around with sauces and herbs. The delicious smell of garlic and onions wafting out through the window. The clanging of saucepans and plates. I walk past the kitchen window and we exchange smiles, both doing what makes us happy. We might not have seen this time. Relish the ordinary, the daily tasks of life. A little later, I submerged myself into a hot soapy bath, marvelling at the way my body now feels. Embrace the soothing bubbles. The cares of the day have dissipated.
You tiny bundle, you were born too soon. My little miracle, my shining star. All the pipes and tubes that were attached to your tiny body. So tiny we had a job to figure out where you were in that huge incubator. Then I focused in and there you were, a tiny little thing you could fit in the palm of my hand. I've never prayed so much and had to put my faith in all the doctors and nurses around you, that they would keep you safe and alive until you were able to have the strength to do it for yourself. I had no choice. I had to believe. But how could something so tiny be able to give the fight that was needed to help you survive? But you did it. And you inspired me to never give up hope and to keep fighting, just as you did. You got a hold on life and boy, did you fight. Every day you got stronger, my little star. The day you came home, we thought the day would never come, but you made it all come true and good tidings were all around. You continue to grow each day and never stop making me laugh. You are a funny, loving little girl with a temper that no one should mess with, but you are still my inspiration. Thank you.
Until then, it had been nebulous, but now it came into clearer focus, feeling real and immediate. There was to be no escape after all. How had it been possible to deny the awful potential of mutually assured destruction and continue living our little lives, prayerfully begging for world peace in a godless climate of international fear and hatred? Why had we decided to bring a child into this grim and precarious world? As the light changed, I was reminded of a recurring dream in which a tidal wave towers high and black against a perfect summer's day, and I'm running with legs which will not move, and my lungs are filling with water as I wake in my bed struggling with fear. As the sky darkened, I felt the oncoming cloud of radiation would engulf me in the same way and strangle from me all that I had loved, taking away my unborn child and our precious world.
Let go. My babies were born a long, long time ago. Tiny hands gripped mine alone to hold. What mattered before then? Parent, let's go. The boys were small a long, long time ago. Awake at dawn and on the go all day. Things that mattered then, let go. Man boys grew tall a long, long time ago. Deep voices, exam stress, and beer with friends. What mattered to us then, let go. Leaving the nest a long, long time ago, finding their feet in an unsettled world. The home that mattered then, let go. Careers and jobs a long, long time ago. Freedom to roam, mates to choose, bills to pay. The things that mattered then, let go. Sons born to sons a long, long time ago. Rejoicing tiny hands in theirs, all safe. Remembering the times when they were small. What mattered before then, let go.
This is called In and Out. 1943. In and out, the laughter escapes my granny's lips, bouncing around the field in an echo of enigmatic cheer. She sucks in air as she struggles to control her breath, the shared joke embracing the wrens together like the code that wraps its way around the machine. She pauses, illuminated from above, and looks up. In the distance, the drone of bombers hum, but here the sky is blue and the air is clean. 1943. In and out, the microscope lens focuses a window of science on the slide. The room is quiet. My grandpa's breathing slow and steady as his meticulous hands operate the machine, illuminated from below. He is attempting to find the code, a chemical sequence of synthetic medicine for the troops. He pauses, looks carefully through the lens. In the distance, the drone of bombers hum, but in here the air is sterile and still. 1995. In and out the doctors and nurses frequent. Small breaths escape my granny's lips and whisper into the white sterility of the room. She sucks in air as she struggles to hold on to life, the shared pain embracing the family together, which has been torn apart by a cough that persisted, but was dismissed and dismissed and dismissed. Holding hands and stroking hair, they pause as another doctor enters, speaks in codes, and they do their best to decipher. In response, they raise their eyes to the sky, an artificial ceiling of illuminated squares. Monitors hum. 2020. In and out, his breath catches. The window that science has to protect him is too small as they attempt to find the new code, a chemical illumination for the world. The room is quiet, apart from my grandpa's chest. He sucks in air as he struggles to hold on to life. Behind the lens of visor and mask, meticulous blue gloves tend to his medicinal needs. No familiar holding of hands or stroking of hair, not now. Instead, a stranger sits in. His breath pauses. In the nearby hospital, respirators hum. Thank you.
So, thank you. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's read this evening.